The space station called Orion's Edge floated far from the bright worlds of the galaxy. It was old, quiet, and mostly forgotten. Only traders, workers, and people with nowhere else to go lived there. Humans were rare here, and when they were seen, they were ignored or avoided. One human lived on the lowest level of the station. His name was Evan. Evan worked as a maintenance cleaner. He fixed broken lights, cleaned unused halls, and repaired doors no one cared about anymore. He wore old clothes, spoke little, and never caused trouble. To the aliens on the station, he was invisible. That was how Evan survived. Every day was the same. Walk the long metal halls. Hear the hum of machines. Avoid the alien guards. Do the job. Get paid. Go back to his small room. But one night, everything changed. It began during a station-wide power drop. Lights flickered. Warning sounds echoed through the empty halls. Evan was sent to check an abandoned cargo section near the outer ring. No one liked that area. It was dark, cold, and unstable. Evan did not complain. He never did. As he walked through the narrow tunnel, his boots echoed softly. The lights above him blinked on and off. Dust floated in the air. Broken crates were stacked along the walls. Then he heard it. At first, he thought it was a machine, a soft sound, weak, uneven. Evan stopped walking. He listened again. The sound came once more. It was not metal. It was not air escaping. It was crying. Evan's heart began to beat faster. No human lived in this section. No alien workers came here either. This place had been sealed for years. The sound was coming from behind a locked cargo door marked restricted. Evan placed his hand on the cold metal door. Another sound came through. Small, shaking, afraid. Whatever was behind that door was alive. Evan knew the rules. If something was sealed, it was sealed for a reason. Opening it without permission could get him arrested or worse. He stood there, frozen. Then the crying stopped. For a moment, there was only silence. Evan felt something heavy in his chest. He imagined something small and scared sitting alone in the dark. He imagined how long it must have been crying. He took a deep breath and broke the rules. Evan used his access tool and forced the door open. The door slid aside with a loud hiss. Inside the cargo room, it was almost completely dark. Only a small emergency light glowed red in the corner. Then Evan saw it. A tiny shape sat behind a broken crate. It was an alien child. The child was small, smaller than a human toddler. Its skin shimmered softly, changing color with every breath. Large eyes reflected the red light, wide with fear. One of its thin arms was injured, wrapped in torn fabric. The child did not move. It just stared at Evan. Evan slowly knelt down. He did not speak. He did not move closer. He raised his hands to show he was not a threat. The alien child made a soft sound again. Not loud, not angry, just scared. Evan felt his throat tighten. He had seen fear before. War had taught him that. This fear was real. Suddenly, alarms began to ring. Red lights flashed in the hallway outside. Security scans had started. Evan knew. What would happen if guards found the child? Alien law was strict. Unknown species were dangerous. Children were not protected the same way as adults. The child trembled as the alarms grew louder. Then something unexpected happened. The mini alien slowly stepped forward. It reached out with its small, uninjured hand. And touched Evan's finger. The moment felt heavy, strange, important. Evan swallowed hard. Footsteps echoed in the distance. He had seconds to decide. Evan gently lifted the child into his arms and turned away from the door. He chose to run. As he disappeared into the dark hallway. Evan did not know it yet, but the galaxy had just taken its first step toward change, and it all began with a cry no one else understood. Evan moved fast through the dark hallways of Orion's Edge. His boots hit the metal floor softly, but his heart was loud inside his chest. In his arms, the mini alien child clung to him. Its small body shook with every alarm sound echoing through the station. Security lights flashed red above them. The station was awake now. Evan turned into a narrow service tunnel, one that only maintenance workers knew. He slid behind a broken panel and waited. The tunnel smelled of oil and old metal. The lights here were dead. The alien child pressed closer to him. Evan slowly lowered himself to the floor and sat against the wall. He took off his jacket and gently wrapped it around the child. The child stopped shaking a little. Its eyes stayed locked on Evan's face, watching every breath he took. Evan whispered, even though he knew the child could not understand his words. "You're safe. I won't let them hurt you." He did not know why he said it. He only knew it felt right. Outside the tunnel, heavy footsteps passed by. Alien guards spoke in sharp, cold voices. Their scanners hummed as they searched for life signs. Evan held his breath. The mini alien made a small sound, almost like a whimper. Evan placed one finger softly against its lips. The child seemed to understand. It stayed quiet. After a long moment, the footsteps faded. The danger had passed for now. Evan looked down at the child more closely. In the dim light, he could see strange marks on its skin, glowing faintly. They pulsed slowly, like a heartbeat. He had never seen an alien like this before. The child reached up and touched Evan's face, not in fear, not in pain, but with trust. That touch broke something inside Evan. He had lost family long ago. The station had taught him how to survive alone. He never planned to care about anyone again. Yet here he was, protecting an alien child. The galaxy would rather erase. Evan knew he could not keep the child hidden forever. Scanners would find them, sooner or later. And when they did, there would be no mercy. He had to make a choice. He could leave the child somewhere safer and walk away. He could pretend this never happened. He could survive, or he could stay. Evan looked into the child's eyes. Those eyes were filled with questions and fear, but also hope. He made his decision. Evan stood up and adjusted the jacket around the child. He moved deeper into the station, toward an old maintenance sector that had been shut down years ago. No guards went there. No cameras worked there. It was dangerous, but it was hidden. Inside the abandoned sector, Evan found a small room once used for emergency repairs. He sealed the door manually and blocked it with scrap metal. The room was cold, but safe for now. He cleaned the child's injured arm using basic medical tools from his kit. The child winced but did not pull away. It trusted him completely. When Evan finished, the child rested its head against his chest. It fell asleep. Evan sat there for a long time, not moving. Outside, the station announcements began. Alien authorities warned all personnel of a missing biological asset. They ordered everyone to report anything unusual. Evan knew they were talking about the child. He also knew something worse. This child was important. Very important. The galaxy did not send search teams for nothing. Suddenly, the child's skin glowed brighter. The strange marks on its body began to shine. A soft pulse of energy filled the room. Evan felt a strange warmth wash over him, somewhere far away. Deep in space, powerful alien systems woke up. They had found a signal, and they were coming. Evan held the sleeping child closer. He did not know what would happen next, but one thing was clear. This was no longer just about hiding. This was about family. And the galaxy was about to find out what that meant. The abandoned sector stayed quiet for a long time. Too quiet. Evan sat near the sealed door, his back against the cold wall. The mini alien child slept in his arms, breathing slowly. Its soft glow filled the dark room with faint colors that shifted like living light. Evan had not slept. Every small sound made him tense. Every vibration in the station made his hand move closer to the door lock. He knew the search would not stop. Alien authorities never stopped when something important was missing. Suddenly, the station shook. Not from age, not from failure, from arrival. Through the thin metal walls, Evan felt the deep hum of massive engines. Ships, many of them, heavy ones, military ones. The galaxy had arrived. Station announcements echoed through every level in a dozen alien languages. Orders were given. Sectors were sealed. Movement was restricted. Evan's name appeared on the system screens. Human, maintenance worker. Last recorded near the restricted cargo zone. Evan closed his eyes for a brief moment. They knew, the mini-alien stirred in his arms. Its eyes opened slowly. The glow on its skin brightened as fear returned. The child sensed danger before Evan did. "It's okay," Evan whispered again. Though he was no longer sure, then something unexpected happened. Child placed its small hand over Evan's chest. The glowing marks on its skin changed shape. They stretched and formed strange symbols, old and powerful. The air in the room felt heavy, like space itself was listening. Evan felt a sudden warmth spread through his body, not heat, not pain. Connection. The child looked up at him and made a soft sound, different from before. It was not fear. It was a call. At that same moment, far above the station, alien ships froze in place. Sensors screamed with warnings. An ancient signal had activated. Inside the largest ship, alien leaders stared in shock at their screens. The signal was impossible. It had not been seen in thousands of cycles. A family bond signal. Only one thing could trigger it. The mini-alien had chosen. Back on the station, heavy footsteps approached Evan's hiding place. The door sensors screamed as guards forced their way through the abandoned sector. The child tightened its grip on Evan. Evan stood up slowly, holding the child close. The door burst open. Alien guards flooded the room, weapons raised, eyes wide as they saw the glowing child and the human holding it. "Step away from the asset," one guard ordered. Evan did not move. The mini-alien turned toward the guards and made a sharp sound. The symbols on its skin flared bright white. The guards froze in place. Their weapons shut down instantly. Silence filled the room. Moments later, a hologram appeared in the center of the room. A tall alien figure formed from light, wearing the markings of galactic authority. Its voice was calm, but shaken. "That child is under human protection," the figure said slowly. "Explain." Evan took a deep breath. His voice was steady. "It was alone," he said. "It was hurt. I helped it. That's all." The hologram studied him carefully. "The child has declared you as family," it said. "Do you understand the meaning of that word?" Evan looked down at the mini-alien. The child looked back, eyes calm now. "Yes," Evan answered. "I do." The hologram went silent. Around the station, alien ships waited. Leaders argued. Laws were checked. Old rules were reopened. Never in recorded history had a mini-alien chosen a human. The galaxy had spent centuries believing humans were weak, emotional, and dangerous. Now one small child had challenged everything. The hologram spoke again. "A tribunal will be formed," it said. "Your actions will be judged." The image faded. Evan felt the weight of the universe settle on his shoulders. He held the child closer. The galaxy was watching now. And nothing would ever be the same again. The tribunal chamber was vast and cold. It floated at the center of the station, rebuilt quickly by alien technology. Bright lights shone from every direction. Tall alien figures filled the seats around the chamber, their shapes and colors different, their eyes sharp and curious. At the center stood Evan. He was small compared to them. Just one human. No weapon, no armor. Only simple clothes and tired eyes. In his arms was the mini-alien child. The child clung to him, its small fingers holding tight to his shirt. Its skin glowed softly, calm but alert. The strange symbols on its body moved slowly, like they were alive. The chamber went silent. An elder alien stepped forward. Its voice echoed, deep and controlled. "Human," it said. "You are accused of stealing a protected biological being. You violated galactic law. You endangered this station." Evan did not bow. He did not argue. He only spoke the truth. "I found the child alone," Evan said. "It was hurt. It was crying. I helped it." Murmurs spread through the chamber. Another alien stood, taller. "Humans lie," it said. "Humans act from fear. This bond is false." At those words, the mini-alien reacted. Its glow brightened suddenly. The symbols on its skin burned with light. A low hum filled the chamber, strong enough to make the walls vibrate. The elders froze. Ancient systems awakened around them. Old lights turned on. Old screens filled with symbols no one had seen in generations. A voice spoke from the chamber itself. "Not alien. Not machine. Family bond confirmed." Gasps echoed through the room. The elders stared in shock. Some stood. Some backed away. This system only activated when a true bond was formed. It could not be faked. It could not be forced. The mini-alien lifted its head and looked around the chamber. It did not cry. It did not hide. It raised one small hand and pointed at Evan. A clear signal passed through the chamber. "Chosen. Family." The elders began to argue. Loud voices clashed. Laws were quoted. Warnings were shouted. "This changes everything," one elder said. "This bond is dangerous," another replied. "Humans are unstable." Evan listened, but he did not interrupt. Then one elder turned toward him again. "Human," it said, "do you understand the cost of this bond? You will be watched. You will be tested. You may be destroyed if you fail." Evan looked down at the child. The child looked back at him with calm eyes. "Yes," Evan said. "I understand." The chamber went quiet again. Another elder spoke, its voice softer. "Why did you not leave the child?" It asked. "Why risk everything?" Evan paused. "Because it was alone," he said simply. "No one should be alone." Those words echoed longer than any law. For the first time, the elders hesitated. The mini-alien shifted in Evan's arms and rested its head against his chest. The glow dimmed, warm and steady. The ancient system spoke again. "Bond accepted. Separation not advised." That message shook the tribunal. Some elders were afraid. Others were curious. One thing was clear. The galaxy could not undo what had been done. Finally, the highest elder rose. "The human will remain with the child," it declared. "Under observation. Any threat will be answered." Evan felt a small wave of relief, but it did not last long. This was not freedom. This was a test. As guards escorted Evan out of the chamber, eyes followed him everywhere. Whispers spread. Messages traveled faster than light. Across the galaxy, worlds began to ask the same question. What kind of species creates family where none should exist? Evan held the mini-alien close as they walked through the long corridor. The child was no longer shaking. It felt safe. But Evan knew the truth. The hardest part had not begun yet. The galaxy had judged him. Now it would watch his every move. Evan was given a small living unit near the center of the station. It was clean, well lit, and surrounded by hidden scanners. The galaxy did not trust him, but it could not separate him from the mini-alien child. Every move he made was watched. The child explored the room with quiet curiosity. It touched the walls, the lights, and the soft floor. When Evan sat down, the child returned to him and rested beside his leg. It stayed close. Always. Alien observers watched through invisible eyes. They expected mistakes. They expected fear. They expected the human to fail. Days passed. Evan followed a simple routine. He fed the child. He cleaned its wounds. He spoke to it gently, even though it still did not understand his words. He never raised his voice. He never showed anger. The child began to change. Its glow became brighter. Its movements became stronger. The injury on its arm healed faster than expected. The ancient symbols on its skin shifted into stable patterns. Alien scientists noticed. This should not be possible, one said. The bond is strengthening, another replied. The elders grew uneasy. Then the test came, without warning. The station lost power again. Lights shut down. Gravity weakened. Emergency alarms screamed through every hall. Evan stood up immediately, holding the child close. He had seen emergencies before. Panic helped no one. The child reacted to the chaos. Its glow flared bright and wild. The room shook slightly. Alien voices filled the control channels. Contain the human. Secure the child. Guards moved toward Evan's unit. Evan felt the danger at once. He knelt down and spoke calmly to the child. He placed his hand over the glowing symbols on its skin. "It's okay," he said softly. "I'm here." The child's glow slowly softened. At that moment, part of the station's outer ring cracked. A section of hull began to tear open, pulling air and debris into space. Alarms changed tone. Evacuation. Orders were given. Alien leaders froze. The damage was spreading too fast. If the breach reached the core, the station would be lost. Evan did not wait for orders. He wrapped the child securely against his chest and ran. Guards shouted after him, but he ignored them. He knew the station layout better than anyone. He had fixed its broken systems for years. He reached an emergency control junction near the damaged ring. The controls were manual now. Dangerous. Unstable. The child clung to him as pressure dropped. Evan worked fast. He sealed one door, then another. He rerouted power. His hands shook, but his mind stayed clear. A final door refused to close. The breach grew wider. Without thinking, Evan stepped forward and used his body to reach the override. The pull of space slammed into him. Pain shot through his shoulder. The child screamed. The glow on its skin burst bright white. Energy flowed through Evan's body. Not force. Not control. Support. The door sealed. The station stabilized. Silence followed. Evan collapsed to his knees, breathing hard. The child pressed its forehead against his. Light fading back to calm across the station. Alien systems recorded everything. The human had not saved himself. He had saved everyone. Medical teams arrived moments later. They treated Evan's injuries. The child refused to leave his side. In the council chamber, elders watched the recordings in silence. No weapon. No command. No reward. Only choice. One elder spoke. Quietly, this human did not act from fear. Another nodded. He acted as family. The galaxy had tested humanity. And humanity had answered. Not with power, but with responsibility. Evan woke up in a medical chamber filled with soft white light. The air smelled clean and calm. For a moment, he did not remember where he was. Then he felt a small weight on his chest. The mini alien child lay there, curled against him. Its eyes opened when Evan moved. The soft glow on its skin pulsed gently, steady and warm. It made a quiet sound, one Evan had heard many times now. Not fear, not pain. Relief. Evan slowly sat up. His body hurt, but he was alive. Around him, alien doctors stood quietly. None of them spoke. They only watched. The silence felt heavy. Finally, an elder entered the chamber. Its tall form cast a long shadow across the floor. Its eyes were not cold this time. They were thoughtful. "You should not have survived," the elder said honestly. Evan gave a weak smile. "I didn't plan to," he replied. The elder studied him for a long moment. Then it spoke again. "The child you protect is not ordinary." Evan looked down at the mini-alien. "The Kyle. Ancient symbols. This child is an air seed," the elder said. "A rare being born once in many ages. One who will one day guide its species and protect entire regions of the galaxy." Evan's breath caught. "Then why was it alone?" he asked. The elder's voice grew quieter. "Because others feared what it could become. Fear causes abandonment. Even among advanced species." Evan felt anger rise, but he held it back. The child pressed closer to him, sensing his emotions. "The air seed must form its first bond freely," the elder continued. "That bond shapes who it will become. We believed only our own kind were worthy." The elder paused. "We were wrong." News of the truth spread quickly across the galaxy. Worlds listened. Leaders watched recordings of Evan running toward danger, not away from it. They saw him shield the child with his own body. They saw the bond strengthen, not weaken, under pressure. For the first time, humans were not seen as survivors. They were seen as guardians. A council was called, larger than any before. Representatives from dozens of species appeared as glowing figures across space. The mini-alien stood in Evan's arms during the gathering. When alien leaders spoke too loudly or argued, the child reacted. Its glow brightened. The ancient symbols appeared again. The galaxy listened. "The bond cannot be broken," an ancient voice declared through the system. "The human has been accepted." A new law was written that day. Any species capable of forming such bonds would be granted equal standing. Humans were no longer outsiders. They were recognized, but recognition brought fear. Some alien factions did not accept the decision. They whispered of danger. They spoke of control. They warned that humans could change the balance of power. Evan heard none of it. All he felt was the child's small hand gripping his finger. The elder approached him once more. "You may leave the station," it said. "You may return to your people, or you may stay." Evan looked at the child. Then he looked at the stars beyond the chamber window. "I'll go where it goes," he said. The elder nodded slowly. "The galaxy will remember this," it said. As Evan and the mini-alien prepared to depart, ships across the station lowered their weapons. Some even bowed. For the first time in history, the galaxy was not watching the human with suspicion. It was watching with respect. And deep among the stars, something ancient shifted. The future had changed, not by war, not by force, but by one human who chose family. The ship drifted quietly through open space. Far from Orion's edge, it was small and simple. Built for travel, not war. Evan sat near the front window, watching stars slide past like slow rivers of light. Behind him, the mini-alien child played on the floor. It was no longer as weak or small as before. Its steps were steady now. Its glow was balanced, calm, and bright. The strange symbols on its skin had settled into clear patterns, no longer wild or painful. The child laughed. It was a soft sound, but it filled the ship. Evan turned and smiled. He never thought he would hear that sound again. For the first time in many years, the weight in his chest felt lighter. Their destination was a quiet world near human space. A neutral planet, chosen by the council. A place where the child could grow without fear, and where Evan could live without being hunted or watched. But the galaxy was not silent. Messages followed them. Everywhere. Human worlds asked questions. Alien worlds watched closely. Stories spread fast. A human who became family to an alien heir. A child who chose kindness over power. Some called Evan brave. Others called him dangerous. Evan ignored it all. What mattered was the child. As the ship entered the planet's atmosphere, the child moved closer to Evan. It reached up and placed its small hand on his arm. The glow on its skin changed color, forming a new symbol. Evan felt it clearly this time. Belonging. The ship landed near a wide valley filled with green land and open sky. The air was clean. The world felt peaceful. They stepped outside together. The child looked around with wide eyes. This was not metal, not walls, not fear. This was life. Evan knelt beside the child and placed his hand on the ground. "This is home," he said softly. The child repeated a sound, not words, but meaning. Home. In the weeks that followed, visitors came, humans first. They were careful, curious, unsure. Then aliens came, slowly and from a distance. They expected something terrible. They found something simple. They saw Evan teaching the child how to walk on grass. They saw the child protect small animals without being told. They saw laughter, trust, care. The ancient systems continued to watch. They recorded growth, not of power, but of heart. One day, a message arrived from the Galactic Council. It was not a command. It was a request. They asked the child, through ancient signals, what kind of future it wanted. The mini alien stood between Evan and the open sky. It chose both. The galaxy accepted the answer. New paths opened between species. New laws formed around protection instead of control. Humans were invited into roles they had never been offered before, not as soldiers, but as guardians. Evan did not join councils. He did not speak to crowds. He stayed where he was, building a quiet life. The child grew. Years passed. The mini-alien became a leader, not through fear, but example. When disputes rose between worlds, it remembered a human who ran toward danger to protect others. When choices became hard, it remembered being held in the dark and told it was safe. The galaxy changed because of that memory. On one quiet evening, Evan and the now-grown alien stood together under a sky full of stars. The alien placed its hand over Evan's heart, just as it had on the station long ago. Family. Not by blood, not by law. By choice. And in that moment, the galaxy finally understood the truth it had ignored for so long. Humanity's greatest strength was never force. It was the ability to love beyond fear, and that changed everything.